Good morning, guys. I am Prophetess Kristen, and welcome back to Anointed with Power Ministries. I am on with a quick video. So my last video was supposed to be my last video of 2020. However, God had other plans. So a prophetic word recently went out about, keys, about having access to your promised land. God saying, take the land, it's yours, possess the land, take the land. That prophetic word is true. I can concur to that, because many of my prophetic siblings here on the YouTube platform have confirmed it, have felt it. I felt it last Thursday, and it is true. However, there is a caveat. However, there is a something tied to it, God said, yes, you have access to it. Yes, you have the key to open the door. That door is there for you, but there is a requirement. There is something that you have to do, right? So for example, the key itself represents the requirement, and that key could be purity. That key could be you taking a vow of celibacy to God. That could be for 6 months. That could be for a year, in order for this promise to come to pass. For example, if you're waiting on your kingdom spouse, or the key requirement could be financial discipline, right? You're waiting on God for a financial breakthrough, or maybe some sort of business deal, or something where you'd be given a lot of money, but God is saying, I need to see 6 months of you saving and being better with your finances before I could bless you with this miracle. So there's a requirement, right? Or it could even be 6 months of pure deliverance and healing. So there's a requirement. So although God has given us access, although God is saying, yes, you got the green light, take it, go, we all know that a lot of times prophetic words often go before, before it's time, and everybody's case is different. For somebody it could be a year, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 months, and for some people it could be literally the next day. It all depends on your situation. However, there is a requirement. However, God is asking you to give up something, or to show him something, in order to receive that promise. Because if you go into that promise without adhering to that requirement, or doing what God has instructed you to do, and we know this by prayer, fasting, and obedience, then you're going to potentially ruin and risk either not receiving that promise, because God does not play, or destroying it. So we really have to be careful when we receive prophetic words. And even for myself, that's why in the last video I gave divine instructions, and I talked about this in my last video. I gave some bullet points on some strategies on how to obtain the promise, or going forward in our promised land. That's why it's imperative that when you listen to prophetic messages, they could obviously be, a lie, or they could possibly not be true, but they could very well be true. But there is a part B, there is a part C, because everything is just different based on the believer. We're all different, individual promises and needs, different seasons, and a word may not be for you. It could be for somebody else, or it could be for you, but a different time frame. So you just have to always be cognizant of what's happening in the spirit. And we can only do this by having that relationship with God, having intimacy with God. But God did reveal to me, and he confirmed it through another prophetic voice, that for these promises to come to pass, even though we have it, there are conditions, there are requirements, and there is something that he's asking us to give up, something he's asking us to do, in order for us to obtain it and to enjoy it. I love you guys. I've got to go to work. I got to run. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. God bless you. Amen. Bye.